specifications is going to be in the exam, and I want to make sure that you guys get it right. So in your booklet, you'll have the specifications page, and you're learning how to use the anagram of mum's faces, because that's really important when you get to higher levels. You might have to remember the specifications in an exam. So mum's faces. So M for materials, U for user client, M for manufacturing, safety, function, aesthetics, cost, ergonomics, and sustainability. So you can copy, copy, just like that. And in your specifications page, on your A3, you can paste them, and I've already done that. So just remember, when you are presenting your work, that you should have the heading for your page at the top. So usually it's that one in bold. Also with your work, if there's specifications, or for example, product analysis, someone's got to be there, I don't want the actual question. So that goes for all year levels. Just put your answers, please. The questions are there to trigger you as to get you thinking, but that's not necessarily all the questions that you might need to use. So materials, what type of materials will you use to make your product from? Where is this information?
In the booklet somewhere.
Mm-hmm. We've been given it, haven't we, in our starts with the letter B?
Brief, design brief.
Great. And what are the materials? And when we did our need analysis, we might have discovered this as well. What kind of materials and processes can I use? What type of materials will you use to make your product from? And you always start a specification with my product will be made. So it's a sentence form. Can someone please tell me some of the materials?
Acrylic and hardwood.
Yes, good. Now it might be either or both. So acrylic, which is a very hard type of plastic, acrylic, or hardwood. So that's my first one. And what other parts of the adornment item might we have, and what would those materials be?
Gold.
We could
Silver.
A finding.
Great.
we could have like some string for the
Yeah. String and jewelry findings. Excellent. So my product will be made from acrylic or hardwood, gold, silver, string, jewelry. I'm pretty sure in New Zealand we just use one L for jewelry findings. So if you're still confused about that, jewelry findings are the little earring parts or the safety pins that on the back of a brooch, the key ring part, those bits. Okay, so do the materials need to be waterproof, fireproof, easy to clean, lightweight, and strong? Do they? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Maybe not all of those things, but it should last a long time for the user or client.
It should, yes, it should. So how are we gonna phrase that, do you think, Shreya? My product materials must be water resistant. So silent. I'm not going to do all of your work for you, year 10s. Shall I just let you go and do it off on your own? Come on, you need to help me.
No.
Thank you, Louis. What do you think? My products materials must, if they're going to sit on your body,
Waterproof.
good, must be waterproof. And that's because we don't want them absorbing all of our sweat, do we? And we don't want them rusting. So rust resistant. Anything else?
Easy to clean.
Good. Who was just about to say something?
Oh, it was me. It's also like it needs to be able to like fit into your shirt. If you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like
Materials
can't
wise,
stick out.
Vasu, I think that's going to come under our function, maybe.
Sorry.
Can we come back to that one? So my products
Of course.
materials must be waterproof, rust resistant, easy to clean.
Durable.
Excellent. That's what I was after. Durable. I don't know if there's anything else there.
What about lightweight?
Lightweight. Yeah. I might put and lightweight. Excellent. What were you going to say, Joshua?
Oh, I was going to say what Natasha said.
Great. Okay. So those are your first two. Easy peasy. That's not spelled right. Acrylic. Okay. User client. So who is the person or group of people that the product is aimed at, and you need to specify the age and gender of your user. So you should have. I haven't even completed my design brief, so you should know that already. So they shop at the Poi Room. We know that from our need. In the heart of Auckland, stores in Newmarket and Ponsonby. You would have thought about that in your needs analysis. So who are the potential users? Describe them. What are the benefits? Can somebody go back to their needs analysis, or you could all go back to your needs analysis, and let's start talking about user client. In fact, you can start writing out this first sentence, and then I'd like to hear from you. So who is the person or group of people that the product is aimed at? Specify the age and gender of your user. Yeah, is aimed at. My product is aimed at. Okay, who's got something for me? Gender.
Both genders.
Yeah. Age range.
Maybe in like adults. So
Probably.
like 20 to 60 maybe.
Sure. Do we all agree with that? Voices, please. You guys are shocking. Answer me. I'm going to unmute you. Okay. So 20. The reason maybe 20, 22, 23, people start having a disposable income around that age. Too young, any younger than that, their parents are probably still buying them presents, aren't they? So 20 to 60, or even older if you like. We'll do maybe, let's do 20 to 65. Age between 60 to 25 years, and age between 70 and 65 years. Okay. Who's that? Living in New Zealand and Minso. It's probably a good idea. Come to class. Now, our customers are going to be living in New Zealand, but I might just put any overseas customers that might want to purchase online. Because you never know. Okay, my product is aimed at men, women aged between 20 and 65 years living in New Zealand and overseas that purchase online. Living in New Zealand and overseas customers that, well, as what are their interests? Now, we don't really know, but obviously if they're shopping at the Poi Room, they are going to be interested in
The Maori culture.
yeah, Māori New Zealand culture. Good. What's that? Oh, you were already yeah. There you go. People going and coming. Anyone heard from Linda? So great. The my product design at men and women how do we say this? You need to the users specifications. So specifications, this is why I'm having a little bit of a brain thing. You want to be able to say, have you met it or have you not met it at the end? So yes or no, did I meet that specification? So we should be able to say if the product is aimed at men and women living in New Zealand. Yeah, because it should be actually a marketable product and interesting. So the users of my product, my product, hold on. The interests of my product is aimed at my product. Oh yeah. Product must appeal to the user's interests, which are New Zealand culture, culture such as native New Zealand, I don't know, native New Zealand, Maori, designs, and New Zealand, I'm going to say art or design. Art and design, because it's a very creative type of shop, which is artistic. It's not just Māori stuff in the Poi Room, but it definitely has a strong New Zealand element to it. So if we think about the people who are turning up into these shops, so Newmarket and Ponsonby, what do we know about those suburbs and the people that might live there?
Posh.
Wealthy.
Yep. So we've got wealthy, posh. So their disposable incomes might be quite decent. So they've got lots of money to spend at the end of the month. Are they employed? Potentially. Or their husbands are. I mean, well, I shouldn't say that because it's not necessarily just the men that make the money. Then maybe it's the woman that make the money and their partner goes to spend it all at lunch times. Socioeconomic background, disposable income, interests. We've talked about the interests. Employed, what industries? What the potential users describe them. Don't worry about that. Okay, so the product must appeal to customers that are relatively wealthy, enjoy large or a generous disposable income, that are either employed or have independent wealth in professional industries. And I'm just, so it can be quite general. We don't have to be too specific because this particular product isn't aimed at any particular industry. For example, if we're making something for the medical industry, we would say the customers will be in the medical profession. But professional industries kind of cover things like accounting and lawyers and doctors and IT people and anything that's really, you know, qualified. You're qualified, you're professional. So socioeconomic, that's we're talking about fairly well off people who've got lots of disposable income, can spend a bit of cash on lovely jewelry things. There we go. So that's the users. So the way that we've written this specification is that we can actually now say if our design meets that specification or not. So the product must appeal to the customers that are relatively wealthy, enjoy a generous disposable income, that are either employed or have independent wealth in professional industries. And yes, I think this design does meet that specification because it is using these materials and it is really pretty and it's got that image of the whatever that would appeal to them. Okay, great. Whew. This might take a lot longer than I thought. So maybe what we should do is we'll talk about some of these things and you might need to write your own sentences, okay? So manufacturing. What do we know already about manufacturing?
It's going to be laser cut.
It is going to be laser cut. Good. Is Joshua the only person with ideas in this class? What do we need to do to laser cut it? What would be the first step in the manufacturing process before laser cutting?
Picture your design, like whatever you're gonna actually make.
Picture it?
Yeah, or not like as in not. I don't know how to explain it.
So
not
you need
picture
to
it.
draw it.
Yeah, draw it and then
Yep.
put it on your computer.
Yes. And what what are we going to use to put it on the computer? How are we going to get it on the computer?
We're gonna scan it on a printer.
Yeah. And then we're going to draw it in a
Mhm.
computer.
Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator.
Good. So we're going to be using CAD, and that means computer aided drawing, CAD, computer aided drawing, and CAM, computer aided manufacturing. So the computer aided manufacturing is the laser cutter. So does your product require a specific process in order to make it? My product will be made using Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop, and it will also be made using a laser cutter. So write yourself down that specification. Okay, hopefully you've all got something about manufacturing there. Will the product be batch, one-off, or mass production? Now, considering this is not Kmart or Amazon that we're selling it at, it's probably not going to be mass production, which means mass market, lots and lots and lots and lots of it. It's a boutique store, so we're going to have quite a few products, but not heaps. One-off is just a one item, and that's usually a one-off when you make a piece of art or something specifically for a client. So it's not necessarily going to be one-off either, but it would be a batch production. So what you could say here is that this product is designed to be batch produced. However, I will make a one-off prototype for this assessment or for this assignment. So you're just going to make one, but actually the product is designed to be batch produced, which means small batches, small numbers, maybe 50 to 100. And then that way you can get your product into the different shops and you'll have enough to sell to the customers until you make a new design. So you're going to write, my product will be made as a batch production, or my product will be designed to be made as a batch production, whichever one you write, and I will make one as a prototype for this schoolwork, for this assignment, something like that. And the link there talks about the different scales of production. It's always good to kind of say what you're designing the product for, but also just referring back to the fact that we're just making one prototype in the school. Great. Hopefully you've got that down. How will you be able to keep the product intact for its life, and what could you do to achieve this?
You could put warranties on them.
Great. So my product must have be manufactured to the standard so that it will have a 1 year, will function for the life of a 1 year warranty. Is that what we're saying here? My product must, I wonder if that comes under a different function, sustainability, manufacturing. No, I think that's probably a really good thing to say. My product must be manufactured to a high enough standard that it will last for the minimum of 1 year warranty, but a lifespan of maybe 5 to 10 years or something like that. So that kind of comes under function as well. If you've just joined us, we're working through the specifications. I will put this video up on Blackboard at the end. Has everybody written down that last manufacturing specification? Thank you. Just let me know when you've completed that, please. And when most of us have got it, I will move on. So maybe, yeah, that's great. Put your thumbs up. Okay, cool. It's much nicer to see people's faces. Thank you, guys. Excellent work. So you guys are using your own words here. Do you have a question, Michaela? Or is that just your dumb? Okay, good girl. I'm on a Mac and I can't put my hand up. I don't know why. Okay, so safety. How are you going to make the product safe to use by your target group? What are the possible dangers of a jewelry item?
Sharp edges could like
Yep.
stab someone.
Stab someone? Okay.
So you have to make sure the edges aren't too like sharp.
Yep, good. So smooth, my product will be smooth, or should be have no sharp edges, we could say. My product must have no sharp edges. What's another one? You might have SA2 as well.
A necklace could strangle you, or a bracelet could cut off your circulation.
Yeah. So the product must not or must have a easy release function in case of how would you say that? Natasha, my product must.
I do not know.
I know, it's a tough one. Has anyone got any ideas of how you can phrase that specification?
We could just put labels on it and be like, "Don't sleep with this on."
Yeah, must my product must include safety hazards or choking hazards for customers that have young kids. So that's another thing to think about. Small parts, or it's not aimed at small children, but sometimes products do come with a warning saying this has small parts and it must not have a choking, must not let small children use it. So something about not choking. So my product must not be too tight as to choke the user, or too tight on their wrist, or easily releases if it is snagged on something. So it would break if it got snagged and it won't. Okay. So you could have one or two safety ones. Remember, this number here isn't set in stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could irritate your skin.
Ah, very good. Right. Oops. Why does it do? Huh. There we go. So my product must, how would we say safety wise, must not irritate or be abrasive or be made from safe materials, maybe. And is that a safety or a material specification? I don't know, maybe. So my product must not irritate the user's skin. That's probably about right, isn't it, Michaela? And let me know when you've got all of those written down and you're happy with those. Good. Apologize, I'm not going to write them all up here because it's probably making it a bit too easy for you all. So I want you to use your own words and listen and participate. So I'm going to make it a bit challenging. But for the benefit of you all, I will post it up online. Another long-winded video. Okay, have we all got safety done? Can I move on?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Function. So function is always a little bit tricky because we need to kind of talk about how it functions. So I don't have any examples here for you. Actually, maybe I'll go and get some and then we can talk about it. So what is your design meant to do and what is its purpose? What is it meant to do? I'll be back in a second. So it should, the function, what's the purpose? So the function will be my product must have a design that is representative of the New Zealand culture. Or if you want to be specifically Māori, then you can say the Māori culture. So the product must have a design that represents the Māori culture. That's a really good one. I like that one. So make sure you can say yes or no if it achieves the function or doesn't achieve the function. So does it represent the Māori New Zealand culture? This certainly doesn't. This is approach. Okay. A brooch's function is to go onto a garment and to stay there. So my product must be able to fasten appropriately so that it stays on the user's body in the appropriate way. Because we're being a little bit general. If it was a brooch that I was designing, I'd say my product must be able to fasten to the garment of the user and stay there until the user removes it without falling off. See, stays there, doesn't fall off. My product must be able to be open, must be able to be, what am I trying to say? Put on.
Attach and release.
Yeah, that's a good one. Be able to be attached to the wearer and released easily. So this has got a clasp on it. I can attach it to my body. So the function will be, my product must be able to be attached to the body of the wearer easily and be able to be taken off easily. So again, earrings, the function is that they go through a piercing and get held in place, it doesn't fall out when you take it off. So what is your design meant to do? And what is its purpose? How long will it satisfy the function? So it should be able to stay on the body of the wearer for the time that they choose to wear it, I guess. This function should last the life of the product. So if it breaks, obviously it's lost its function. Where will it be used? You can talk about that. will stay on the body of the user when it is being worn, because it is adornment. We adorn ourselves. This is a little bit trickier, this one. So putting it in your own words. Okay. Do we think we've got all of that? Some of you do? I don't even know if half of you are there. It's just blackness.
I'm here.
Thank you. That's better. Okay, so if you still have a few that you think you might need to complete for function, please come back to the video and watch it. Okay, aesthetics. This is a bit more fun. Oh, wait, am I still sharing that with you? Yes, I am. Okay, cool. I'm just going to mute you guys. A bit noisy now. Joshua, your dog is so noisy. Shush.
Oh, whoops.
Thank you. Okay. Aesthetics. Now we probably have a good idea of the aesthetics for our product now. So can someone please give me a sentence starting with my product must? Shreya.
My product must resemble the New Zealand and Maori culture.
Yes. Good. Resemble, reflect, reflect. Sorry, I'm just being particular there on the words. So my product must reflect the New Zealand Māori culture. Also in aesthetics, I think it's important to say something about what will appeal to the user. So I could say like a sentence about describing what color, shapes, patterns, etc. might appeal to the user. Yeah, Natasha?
I had, oh, I'm stuck in Zoom now. My product will be appealing to my target market because it will be strong, colourful, and easy to use.
Great, that's a good one. So you should be able to say if you have met that specification or not. Is it colourful? Is it appealing to my target market? You can always get feedback to say whether you've met that specification from someone who either is in the target market or friends who have an opinion about it. So what will appeal to the user? So first of all, you're going to write something about how it must be reflective of the New Zealand culture, because it's in the brief. And what is going to appeal to the user? What, let's say, aesthetic features will appeal to the user. What's going to be aesthetically pleasing? So my product must have aesthetic features that appeal to the user, such as bold colors, beautiful patterns, delicate features, sparklies. Sparkle. Maybe you need some sparkle on there. I don't know. I might put this in the booklet too. Whoa, what's going on there? Where's my booklet? Okay, so what aesthetic features will appeal to the user? If you know already what your mood board is, you could put that in the aesthetic. So I could say my product must reflect the classic Kiwi road trip aesthetic, using bright colors that are fun and representative of summer road tripping around the countryside. I don't know. So you might already have a good idea of the aesthetic that you're going for. So you might already say it will use Māori koru designs, or I am focusing on the beautiful New Zealand Alps, which I'm pretty sure somebody is, so because that was a really good idea. Cost. Let's move on to cost. What cost range should the manufacture of your product be in? i.e. between $3 and $4. Also, we really should be saying C2, what cost range would this product retail for? So manufacturing of the product is going to be a different cost to the retail cost. Who can give me some ideas about what it might cost? And of course, you have done your product research, your product analysis, so you might have a good idea there. Did you go onto the Poi Room website and have a little look at that? The Poi Room, ding, ding. So it's probably going to be somewhere in the same realm as these types of things. Okay, beautiful Pounamu drop earrings, $70. Small round greenstone hooks made out of silver, $135. Huia pendant with wood and acrylic, probably $115. So 70, 115. We've got, I mean, these are Pounamu, so those are going to be really expensive. We're not making beautiful jewelry, things like that. 135, 150. Okay, what do you reckon? What are your thoughts? Give me a cost range that it could retail for.
$20 to $75, maybe.
It's a bit cheap.
Oh, okay. 200.
Cost range. We just looked at it, Joshua. Come on, guys.
I was just thinking if like, since it's not professionally made, then it would be cheaper.
True, but we're pretending we're professionals here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're treating this as if we're professionals. And we might not be using actual silver, but if it was silver, it would be a bit in the higher price range.
Maybe 80 to 120.
That's probably a good price range. What do you reckon, Joshua?
Yeah.
Okay, so my product must retail between $80 and $120. And if you think that yours is way cooler, then you can put it up to 150. Or if you think it's definitely not like gonna be expensive, maybe it is only $20 to $70. And the cost range for manufacture, and usually that's a proportion of the retail. So it's quite good to think about the retail. Now you've got your time spent on it and the materials involved. So there's costs involved in there. So there's time setting it all up, making it, doing the computer work. But then if you're doing a batch production, it reduces the overall costs. So we're kind of probably materials wise, it's only going to be between $3 and $4. Maybe if we're using silver and gold, it could be getting up there. It's just a tiny bit of gold, tiny bit of silver, so it might be more like $10 to $15. Acrylic's not expensive. Hardwood has a slightly higher value, and there's a lot more work that needs to be done to prepare that. So that could bump the price up there. So the cost range for manufacture of your product, you probably need to make a call on that and be a bit realistic about how much you think it would cost. If you want to include your time and how much you would spend in that, you could say that. Otherwise, you could just say the cost of the materials would be between da-da-da and da-da-da. So give a range. It's always easier. That way you can be a little bit right when you are checking your specifications at the end. Cost range and the retail. Okay, are you ready to move on?
Yes.
Okay. If you're not, you have to say no, okay? Are we all good? I feel like not everybody's here. Maybe that's just my screen. I might not.
Oh, we're all good.
You're good? Okay, so great. Ergonomics, and ergonomics is all about the study of design for the human body. Anthropometrics, which is the other fancy word we come across in design, is anthropometric study, the data, sizes and things of humans. And we use anthropometric data to make our products ergonomic. So we use data, we use information to make sure our designs are ergonomic. So with ergonomics, has the product been designed to make it safer, easier, and more efficient to use? That's a funny question. In what ways would, for example, this earring, okay, it's got a funny little plastic back on it. Why do you think they've put that there? It's quite a big stud. What benefit do you think that has to the product?
It's comfortable for the user.
Yeah. It provides a support, doesn't it? Makes it comfortable for them to wear. So this has been thought about. Also, this little back silver bit that holds the stud on, it's tiny, absolutely tiny. I actually find it a lot easier to put them on when it's got the big backing bit, because my fingers, I get quite clumsy. Maybe older people with arthritis would find that really, really tricky. So you need to write a sentence about, my product must be easy to use by all age ranges, by all ages in my target market. They must be able to open and close, or put on and put off, take on, take off the product easily and safely. Vasu, what about thinking about making it easy for people who have visual impairments? How could we think about making sure it's easy to function, easy to use for them? Any specific considerations there, do you think? Are you still there, Vasu? Vasu's gone. He's left us. See, this is
Maybe
what...
he just.
Oh no, sorry, I'm here.
Aha! See, he is.
Actually, I decided to turn off my heat pump. Sorry.
Do you think there's any considerations for people who find it hard to see what they're doing? with a product
Not
like
really.
this?
No.
No?
Unless like you're actually blind, you don't really need to worry.
I think because you can feel your way around it easy enough.
Yeah.
Cool.
And like it's quite easy to put things on.
Cool. Okay. But what makes something easier than something else?
If you know, like those those bracelets, like they have like magnetic thingy-majigs. I don't know what to call them. Like it's basically it has like two magnets on each side, and like it closes around your wrist.
Ah, cool.
Those are easy to wear, and also like those ones with like really small like hooks, and one of that's a little
Yeah.
hard to use.
Okay. So, magnets make it even easier. Great.
Yeah.
How have you considered the user's needs? Does your product need to be lightweight or heavy for a particular reason? Specify minimum to maximum size. Okay. So, make it a sentence about making it safe for users or more easy to use. How have you considered the user's needs? Ergonomics. Think about that it's going to be
Payment.
handled. The user needs to handle it with their fingers. And what am I trying to say? What are we considering about the user's needs here? What are their needs? What are the user's needs? Does the product need to be lightweight? I would say yes, it does need to be lightweight because it needs to be worn on the body and you don't want it to weigh down. My product must be lightweight so that it is comfortable for the user to wear. How is it? Have you considered the user's needs? My product must easily or be comfortable to wear, be smooth and comfortable to wear. What did you write on yours, Natasha?
I put it has to be lightweight so it doesn't stress your neck. And I put it should be smooth so it doesn't catch on your skin.
Good. And did you specify a minimum to maximum size?
Yeah, I said 5 by 7 centimeters.
What?
But that was mainly in case I wanted to do a necklace, an earring that was
Okay.
like dangling down.
Long one. Okay.
Yeah.
So thinking about adornment, and it depends on what you're making because you might already have a good idea. So you can put the height, width, and depth. So height H could be between 2.5 to 3 centimeters. Width could be between 1.5 to 2.5 centimeters. This is up to you again. And the depth is the thickness of it. So this little guy here is only 3 or 4 millimeters. And just think about the acrylic that you're using. It's probably going to be a 3 millimeter, 4 millimeter. I can't even remember how thick the acrylic is. It's only about that big. 5 mil, say 5 mil acrylic. The wood could be thinner than that though. So do height, width, and depth. That doesn't say anything there. Height, width, and depth. And you can give a range. That's quite good to do too. Now, you don't have to have 4 ergonomic specifications. If you didn't come up with 4, that's okay. So, do you think we're okay to move on, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. So sustainability, what do we already know about sustainability? Who's got a good idea of what sustainability means? Let's hear from
Uh,
some other people. Sorry, Joshua, I will hear from you, but come on, guys. There's more of you there. What about Zen Ling? Erica? Shreya? You're leaving it all up to a few people to answer all the questions. Thanks.
For like sustainability, we should
Yep.
have we should use materials that aren't like scarce. Like there's a lot of it.
Yep.
So like
So easily sourced, readily sourced.
yeah, and like responsibly sourced too.
Yeah, good. So my product must use responsibly sourced materials where possible, because we
Yeah.
are using acrylic, so that's not very responsible. Good. Okay. What else? Shreya, you've got your hand up there for us. Good. So I've got one.
Should be maintainable.
Should be. What does that mean? What do you mean?
It should last a long time. It should be sustainable.
Yeah. Good. So my product should have a long life cycle. Is that what you mean? Long life?
Sort of, more like durable.
Durable for the life of the product. Yeah. Okay. That kind of, to me, comes under that materials one, though. We talked about durability. Do you think? It's good we're thinking about this. Sustainability. So how easy it is to dispose of, recycle the material you use. Maybe we should be thinking about the end of the life of the product. So we've thought about sourcing materials. We also think about what happens to those materials at the end of its life. So when the product is too broken to ever use again, what's going to happen to it? Can it be recycled? So you might want to say something like, at the end of the life of this product, the product must be able to be recycled at the end of its life. The acrylic can be broken down and reused further. The metals will definitely be able to be broken down, and the wood will definitely be able to be broken down. The acrylic's the only one that doesn't really have easily recyclable or biodegradable aspects to it. So a product life cycle, it's design and manufacture, and then so materials, design, materials, manufacture, and then end of its life cycle, and then end of its life. So the production part of it, do they harm the environment? Do you think using a computer is harmful for the environment? Not so much the actual use of it. And the production, the laser cutting and the wood production, maybe the sourcing of those materials, the production of the materials, there's a little bit of environmental considerations there. But the actual laser cutting, those are probably quite environmentally friendly, sustainable processes at this stage. So my product must be made, produced with consideration for the environment. I think that's probably what we're trying to say here. My product must be able to be recycled as much as possible at the end of its life. And will you use images, logos to convey that the product is environmentally friendly? I would say that a piece of jewelry might come with a card attached, and you could put something on the card, maybe a recycling logo saying that the elements or the materials on this product that can be recycled are the wood and the metal, and the plastic will have to go to a special recycling plant or something like that. Acrylic can be ground down and reused
Mum.
as plastic, but it is a very difficult thing to recycle. It's not biodegradable, is it? So sorry, there's lots of long-windedness there, just chatting. Hopefully you've got 3 good sustainability specifications written down. Great.